Honorable Prime Minister has graciously consented to inaugurate the Sai Hira Global Convention Center here at Prashanti Nilayam in the august presence of the Governor of Andhra Pradesh amidst a galaxy of eminent dignitaries and delegates from India and across the globe. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, प्रशांति निलयम में एकत्रित गणमान्य सज्जनों, सेवा और प्रेम की मशाल थामे देश विदेश से आए हुए युवा और युवतियों, छात्रगण, शिक्षक एवं वैद्यगण और प्रशांति निलयम में उपस्थित हजारों भक्तगण, हम सभी के तरफ से विश्व के सबसे लोकप्रिय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को हृदयपूर्वक अभिनंदन। आपका हर पल, हर पग, हर कार्य देश के लिए समर्पित है। आप हम सभी के लिए गौरव, आत्मविश्वास एवं प्रेरणा के प्रतीक हैं। आपकी उपस्थिति हर पहल को एक निश्चयात्मक पूर्ति प्रदान करती है। आपका प्रेम पूर्वक स्वागत करने के लिए मंच पर उपस्थित हैं आंध्र प्रदेश के माननीय राज्यपाल श्री अब्दुल नजीर जी, श्री सत्यसाई सेंट्रल ट्रस्ट के मैनेजिंग ट्रस्टी श्री आरजे रत्नाकर जी, श्री सत्यसाई इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हायर लर्निंग के चांसलर श्री के चक्रवर्ती जी, श्री सत्यसाई सेंट्रल ट्रस्ट के सदस्यगण श्री रियुको हीरा जी, श्री एस नागानंद जी, डॉक्टर वी मोहन जी एवं श्री सत्यसाई सेवा संगठन के ऑल इंडिया प्रेसिडेंट श्री निमिष पंड्या जी। आइए शुभारंभ करते हैं आज का कार्यक्रम। We will commence this morning's proceedings with invocatory Vedam chanting. Sai Ram.
गणपति गुम्हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
We now invite the Managing Trustee of Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust, Sri R.J. Ratnakar Garu, to deliver the welcome address. Sri R.J. Ratnakar.
I offer my salutations to Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Governor of Andhra Pradesh Sri Abdul Nazir ji, all the trustees on the dais and dignitaries present here, and my dear Sai brothers and sisters who are present in person and those who are watching this program live, my namaskars and loving Sai Ram to all of you. Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. Mother and the motherland are more sacred than the highest heaven, says scriptures. Baba is to encourage all his students and followers to serve their motherland. He wanted all his devotees to be patriotic and serve the nation. All his projects were for the welfare of the humanity. At personal level, Baba used to have a special bond with his mother, Srimati Ishwaramma. Baba, in his birthdays, used to visit her samadhi and pay respects to the mother. Baba, life itself is a message, and he set a great example for all of us. Prime Minister, sir, you are tirelessly working in the service of the nation. Your heart throbs for this country. When I was watching your recent visit to America and Egypt, I was wondering if you could catch up a couple of hours of sleep in a day. Seeing such a packed schedule of yours, we used to feel tired, but you always look fresh and full of energy. Such dedication and hard work is an example for every citizen of this country. Sir, we also have witnessed your special bond with your beloved mother, Srimati Hira Benji, and how you used to go and take her blessings on your birthdays in spite of your busy schedule. You are a role model for every child, every youth, every son in following the dictum Matru Devo Bhava. Sir, Sri Satya Sai Baba started his mission in a very humble way in a remote village before India got its independence. But today, his message has traveled across the globe and attracted millions and inspired them to follow the path of Seva. Baba had a very unique and practical approach for every activity. Baba started many educational institutions and was personally involved in grooming every student. Baba used to interact with students, and when the exam results are announced, he would inquire about the results. If a student says that he got first class or scored 90% in examinations, he would call the teachers and wardens and would inquire about the behavior of the boy. Baba would mention, marks kam hai to parwa nahi, remarks nahi hona chahiye. He always emphasized on character building of young men. Sir, Baba also started many healthcare initiatives as he always focused on relieving the suffering of poor and needy. Once Baba sent a group of doctors for a medical camp in a nearby village. When the doctors came back, Baba inquired, how many people have you treated in the camp? The doctors were very happy and conveyed that they had treated about 600 patients. Baba did not look pleased. Seeing Baba's reaction, the doctors asked if they had done anything wrong. Baba's reaction, itni si choti gaon mein, itne log bimar pade hain. Such a small village, how could so many fall sick? He was concerned about the healthcare facilities for rural people. He wanted that every citizen get the best medical care and every child should have the access to the quality education, irrespective of caste, creed, color, and religion. Sir, Baba executed projects worth thousands of crores, be it in providing drinking water to the villages, building hospitals and educational institutions. But he never had a bank account for himself, nor he held any property. Baba used to say, good work is God's work. And when you do selfless seva with a pure heart, all the necessary resources will automatically flow. Everything he did was only for others. Sir, you are also from a very humble background. You have risen to the highest position. You are an acclaimed world leader, yet you continue to be rooted in the Bharatiya culture. Sir, we are indeed grateful to you for being with us for the inauguration of Sai Hira Global Convention Center. This center is a labor of love from all the Sevaks. Sri Hiraji from Japan, an ardent follower of Baba for over 5 decades. Last year, he was conferred Padma Shri Award by the Government of India. Sri Hiraji, the donor of this convention center, is amidst us. Thank you, Hiraji. Sir, today we have more than 3,000 delegates and their family members in Puttaparthi from over 50 countries. They are attending Leaders Conference of Sri Satya Sai Global Council. They all deem it a privilege to be in Prashanti Nilayam and to be part of this occasion. Sir, before I close, aapse hamara ek vinati hai. Sir, you have visited Prashanti Nilayam many times when Baba was physically with us. I, on behalf of Sri Satya Sai Central Trust and all the devotees, request you to visit Puttaparthi, the Janmabhoomi of Sri Satya Sai Baba, and receive blessings. Sai Ram, Jai Hind. Now I request Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji to kindly inaugurate the Sai Hira Global Convention Center.
भाइयों और बहनों, जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत कीजिए इस ऐतिहासिक क्षण का। We will now have a video presentation on various initiatives taken up by the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, आपके विचार हृदय में एकता और विश्व शांति की चेतना को जागृत करने वाली अमृत धारा है। We now request our Honorable Prime Minister to address the August gathering. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, साई राम।
तो प्रधानमंत्री ने आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से आंध्र प्रदेश के पुट्टपर्थी में साई हीरा ग्लोबल कन्वेंशन सेंटर का उद्घाटन किया। साफ तौर पर
country. These expressions of nationalism drove a debate over many decades about the nature of our politics and the nature of our governance. They also influenced our thinking about development and progress, including on how best we can stand on our own feet. And of course, they shaped our approach to engaging the neighborhood particularly and the world at large. At one level, each of these may look like a different subject, a different domain, but the truth is that they represented a holistic worldview, and in real life, each was inseparable from the other. Now, with that as a larger context, allow me to focus on some specific issues that are so deeply, so inextricably associated with Dr. Mukherjee. The first pertains to the accession of Jammu and Kashmir and the ensuing debate about that process and its implications. Now, his position, of course, is known to all of us, and also evoked of एक देश में दो विधान, दो प्रधान, दो निशान नहीं चलेंगे. The issue itself does not require any further elucidation after so many years and so many experiences. We all know how damaging it has been economically, developmentally, socially, and in terms of national security when Jammu and Kashmir was not fully integrated into the national mainstream. When that was decisively rectified on 5 August 2019, obviously our national integration emerged that much stronger. But as a Minister of External Affairs, what I would like to underline today is how this issue was taken advantage of by external powers vis-à-vis India. Now, we must also appreciate that this assessment is not an outcome of hindsight. Even in 1953, Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee conveyed to Prime Minister Nehru that, and I quote him, "No one today could claim that your handling of the Kashmir problem has enhanced our international prestige or has won for us wide international support and sympathy. On the other hand, your policy in this behalf has added to complications both at home and abroad." I repeat, your policy in this behalf has added to complications both at home and abroad. Statesmanship requires that you should re-examine the whole matter dispassionately, and instead of being haunted by false internationalism, firmly create conditions for national solidarity based on fair adjustment of different views and input. I particularly stress this reference to complications abroad because that is precisely what came to preoccupy Indian diplomacy for the period thereafter. Interestingly, Sardar Patel too had a similar view when he very presciently cautioned Pandit Nehru about submitting our interest to the judgment of others. With the passage of time, the diplomatic consequences of the early misjudgments on Jammu and Kashmir have probably receded from public memory. It is possible that the younger generations are even unaware of the pressures that our country faced on this issue. But it is nevertheless worth recalling in order to fully appreciate the importance of what we did in August 2019. The question of how weaknesses are exploited in world politics and therefore why we should constantly strengthen our national security. Let me dwell on the global manipulation of the Jammu and Kashmir situation in some detail. This would explain what Dr. Mukherjee meant when he spoke of complications. Many of you would be familiar with the fact that in December 1947, India referred the matter to the United Nations under Article 35 of the UN Charter as a threat to international peace and security created by Pakistan's support to the invaders. There is a separate debate on whether this was the best pathway that India could have chosen at that time. But I won't get into that. Now bear in mind that the British appointed Governor General accepted the instrument of accession in regard to Jammu and Kashmir under the relevant legal provisions. What I would like to highlight more is the responses of the major world powers to an opening that this situation provided. Clearly, as the recent colonial power, the United Kingdom was in the lead. It was also the one with the strongest post-partition agenda and therefore the most mischievous. The UK influenced the passing of a Security Council resolution calling on both India and Pakistan to refrain from any acts that would aggravate the situation. So what you have in effect is that the aggressor and the victim are put on par. Declassified records indicate very clearly that there was a strategy in the Commonwealth Relations Office to bring in Pakistani troops into Jammu and Kashmir to balance out India. The next step was to move through Belgium, which was then the President of the Security Council, to establish a three-nation commission on the matter. Now, in that process, India's main request that Pakistan refrain from assisting the invaders was conveniently dropped. The further sleight of hand happened when the title of the resolution itself was changed from to the India-Pakistan question. Canada then took over from Belgium and carried the Western agenda further forward by pressing for a Pakistani military presence in the place of the invaders if they withdrew. Matters, in fact, reached a stage where India actually had to threaten to leave the Commonwealth to protest against such bias. Now, as the stakes rose higher, the United States and other Western allies also got drawn deeper into this game. Intense pressures were exerted over the next few years, including the threat to withhold assistance of various kinds to India. The turning point, of course, was a 1957 UK-US joint draft by the Soviet Union. The next decade, India's defeat in the 1962 conflict with China saw a renewal of such efforts. the infamous Avril Harriman Duncan Sandys mission actually sought to arbitrate on Jammu and Kashmir, and this was the most serious of those endeavors. If they failed, it was less due to intent and more because of global circumstances and India's own resistance. The illegal 1963 China-Pakistan agreement on Shaksgam Valley made it awkward for Western nations to make common cause right then with Pakistan. But by 1965, Western partiality for Pakistan's attempt to capture Jammu and Kashmir was apparent once again in the stance that they took on the conflict. Issue moved purely to the bilateral format as a result of the Shimla Agreement. Attempts to interfere in Jammu and Kashmir nevertheless carried on. This happened publicly during the Clinton administration, and even the reaction of Western powers to our 1998 nuclear tests tried to link it to this issue. I repeat, this happened publicly during the Clinton administration, and even the reaction of Western powers to our 1998 nuclear tests tried to link it to this issue. While the Bush administration moderated this, there were nevertheless conversations behind closed doors. Barack Obama did bring up Kashmir during his presidential campaign, and there was a debate actually about Ambassador Holbrooke's remit that some of you may remember. But much more than these diplomatic endeavors, what has hurt our interests more are the actual violation of our sovereignty and territorial integrity. And that violation was by China. As I noted, this began in 1963 and kept increasing thereafter through connectivity initiatives. We later saw that develop into the so-called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Each of these efforts has been countered and will continue to be countered. But keeping all this in mind, we must appreciate mainstreaming Jammu and Kashmir. We have not just strengthened national integrity, but also enhanced national security. And this is absolutely vital as India raises its profile on the global stage. Certainly, our Western partners today are much more understanding. But let that not obfuscate the fact that the real change has been in our own policies.
A good developer can understand technical concepts and codes well, but only a skilled developer can create robust and extendable systems. If you wish to become the skilled developer, you must attend this low-level design free masterclass by Scalar on solid principles. In this session, you will gain a thorough understanding of the solid principles and use them to create robust, maintainable and extendable systems. Click on the link below to join.
జిఆర్టీ జ్యువెలర్స్ తో ఆషాఢ వేడుకల్ని జరుపుకోండి. ఈ ఆషాఢంలో ప్రతి కొనుగోలుపై ఆశ్చర్యకరమైన బహుమతులను పొందండి మరియు పాత బంగారు ఆభరణాల ఎక్స్చేంజ్ పై గ్రాముకు 50 రూపాయలు అదనంగా పొందండి. జిఆర్టీ జ్యువెలర్స్.
In respect of Jammu and Kashmir. A question closely related to the mishandling of the Jammu and Kashmir issue is that of India's misreading of Pakistan, its intent and its policies. This too is a long-standing issue and has cast its shadow over many decades on our well-being and security. And here too, there has been a decisive shift in Indian thinking after 2014. In the case of Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, the matter acquires particular salience because it was the cause of his resignation from the Union Cabinet. He shares his assessment candidly with the Parliament on 19th April 1950 in words that still resonate with all of us. And he says, I quote him, "I have never felt happy about our attitude towards Pakistan. It has been weak, halting and inconsistent. Our goodness or inaction has been interpreted as weakness by Pakistan. It has made Pakistan more and more intransigent and made us suffer all the greater, and even lowered us in the estimation of our own people. On every important occasion, we have remained on the defensive and failed to expose or counteract the designs of Pakistan aimed at us, unquote. Now ask yourself, this could well be the thoughts of the average Indian citizen in the aftermath of the 26/11 attacks in Mumbai. Indeed, if there are two figures of that era who displayed strategic clarity about Pakistan, Patel and the other.
చంద్రగిరి నియోజకవర్గం బాకారపేటకు భవిష్యత్తు గ్యారంటీ చైతన్య రథయాత్ర చేరుకుంది. తిరుపతి జిల్లా చంద్రగిరి నియోజకవర్గం బాకారపేటకు భవిష్యత్తు గ్యారంటీ చైతన్య రథయాత్ర చేరుకుంది. పోటెత్తిన తెలుగు తమ్ములతో మహిళలతో